I'm Hannah. I'd like to show you a few movements from the Feldenkrais Method that can help you to get a more supple spine in a very short space of time. We're culturally conditioned to think that we have to work very hard for a long time in order to make physical improvements. I'm going to show you that there's another way as well. So before we lie down, please have a little something you can use as a head cushion nearby. Something not too squishy. You could have a folded up bath towel or a soft book with something on top. So to begin, please sit and just take a moment just to see how you feel sitting today. And then please go ahead and turn to look over one shoulder, as though somebody was calling you from behind and you just wanted to turn and see who it was. You can try both ways. And just notice, is one way easier for you? Like normally people spontaneously pick their easiest side to turn towards first. And then just do your easiest side a few times and just notice, where is the place where you run out of movement? So what do you see in front of you when you've used up what you can do without any strain at all? And just notice how you make the movements. So can you get curious about which parts of you move in order to turn? Do you do it all in your neck? Are your shoulders moving? Do you move lower down in your spine? And just see if you can notice that without placing any judgment on it for now. We're going to see how that changes after the series of movements that we do on the floor in a moment. Okay, so just remember this feeling. And then please come have a lie down on your back to begin. And just take a moment to let yourself settle onto the floor. Notice how your body's feeling today. And feel how much of a space do you have underneath your back, particularly underneath your lower back at the moment. Does your body easily rest and kind of melt into the floor, or do you feel like there's work going on that is hard for your body to stop doing? And just notice how your shoulders feel. How do they rest on the ground? Does your right shoulder make contact with the ground differently to your left one? Or perhaps your shoulders don't touch, and if so, is there more space under one side than the other side? And then please come and have a lie on your side, either side, whichever you're more comfortable on. Grab your little cushion or towel and just have a soft little headrest for a moment. And could you rest with your legs at 90-ish degrees, so like you were sitting on a chair, your knees are in front of your hips and your feet are under the knees. And have your arms out long as well, with your top palm on top of your bottom one. And then could you begin to just slide your palm, your top one, a little bit forwards and back one. The underneath hand just rests on the ground. And as you slide your hand backwards, can you keep your elbow straight? So the temptation might be to bend it. If you keep your elbow straight, you allow your shoulder to start to get involved. So just gently keep that movement going. And begin to just sense what you feel around your shoulder, the top shoulder. Does it feel like that shoulder blade glides smoothly, or does it come along in a series of like going over little speed bump type motions? And just notice, do you let your head move as you do that? Start to allow your head to move if it would like to. So that means if it's easily happens, if it comes along easily. And feel how far down through your back is there movement. So as you move your hand in this way, it begins to create a gentle twisting movement in your upper spine. Notice, where does it come to? Does it stop here or somewhere down towards your hips? Okay, take a rest for a moment. It's unusual to be asked to rest in a movement class, but those rests give us time to absorb all that sensory information we're giving our bodies and our brains. And then could you make a similar movement with your lower body? So can you roll your pelvis in order to slide your top knee a little bit in front of your underneath knee and back, and perhaps a little bit backwards as well. And again, just see if you can get curious about how smooth you can make the movement rather than how big. Notice if there's any place that kind of tenses up or braces as you do that. And just feel, can you invite that place to do less, to hold on less? We're so used to working hard, especially when we're kind of exercising, moving, but sometimes it takes more concentration to let go of the places that are holding than it does to think of tightening or holding or working another place. So just gently see, can you make the movement very soft, very easy, very kind to your body. And just sensing how much of your spine is involved in the movement. So just like when you moved your hand, there was a twist going down through your spine. Now there's a twist that's created by your pelvis. And notice if it just kind of reaches to here or to higher up. Maybe your shoulder and neck want to move. That's fine if they do, they don't have to. Okay. And then when you've got a sense of how that is for your body, just stop and take a rest. And just take a moment to feel how your breath is moving you. So feel your belly or your chest. Maybe you feel it more on your top side. How does your breath come in and out of your body, and how does that move you? And then we're going to put the two movements together. So could you once again have your top palm on top of your bottom one? And this time, can you slide your hand and your knee forwards together and then back together? Again, see how smooth can you make the movement. Can you find a way of being quite lazy with your muscles and yet quite rigorous with your attention? So you're really tuned into the movement, that you're being very, very soft. And just notice, how do you feel yourself kind of rolling around your underneath side? You might feel the contact point kind of shifting, so you're rolling a bit backwards and a little bit forwards of your starting point. And see if you can do your hand and your knee really, really together. So for some people you might find it's like the hand really wants to go further and faster and the leg just moves a little bit. And see if you can do it so they're both moving really the same amount. Your shoulder and your hip would always be kind of in line with each other if they're moving the same amount. Nice. And when you've had enough of that, please rest. Just let that go for a moment. The rests are good, they're helpful. And then next we're going to explore doing those two movements in opposition to each other. So start very small, it's the more challenging coordination. Can you slide your knee a little back as your hand goes forward? And then your hand a little bit back as your knee goes a bit forwards. Some people find this almost impossible the first time they do it, so if that's you, don't worry, that's normal. Just keep tuning in, see if you can find that pathway. And just feel, what does this movement ask of the center of yourself? Is there something more happening around those ribs that start all the way up under your collarbones and go all the way down at the sides anyhow to very close to your pelvis? Keep breathing as you do that. Check you don't hold your breath or brace any place. Just see, could you be softer? Can you be lazier again in your muscles? Lazy just means efficient. You're using the least amount of effort that you need in order to get that to happen. Okay. Take a rest for a moment once again. And then could you come back just to the first thing we did of just sliding your top hand forwards and backwards. And just feel now how much of your body joins in. So can you allow your head to just softly turn? Notice if you can allow your spine to come along so it's twisting. Maybe your pelvis moves a little bit now, that's allowed. And just feel if you go a little bit further or if the movement's a bit easier or a bit smoother than the first time that you did that today. Lovely. So please let that go. Come back onto your back for a rest again. And just notice if it feels different to when you were here a few minutes ago. Feel how much of a space you have underneath your lower back, if there's less of a gap there now. And you might feel that the two sides of yourself feel different. One side might feel longer than the other might feel closer to the ground. Just find out what's going on in your body. And I'm going to invite you to do that on the other side after the video. But for now, just come up to sitting. Take your time to come back up. Just sit in the same way you sat at the start. And then could you come back to turning to see over one shoulder. You can try the other way. And just feel if you go a little bit further with ease, and if the movements become a bit smoother, perhaps a little bit more distributed, so not just all in one area, all in the neck, but if the shoulders, the ribs, the pelvis know how to help you out now.